I tell you this because it is true. We did, in the end, prop open a small and knotted door. What went out, and what came back through, well, that is not for me to say.
Tatterdemalion is about a world fallen and reborn. It's a post-apocalyptic novel, but it's rooted deep in the folklore traditions of old Europe and set in a wildly reimagined Northern California, where I'm from. The novel's really a call to attention. Right now, we're surrounded by environmental, cultural, social collapse, and embedded in this dominant narrative that really treats land and animals, plants, stones, water, people, and especially marginalized peoples as objects to be used rather than subjects to be honored and respected in their own right. So we're really in great need of new narratives and new stories to help us reimagine what it means to be human in a more than human world. And Tatterdemalion offers one such story.
You tell yourselves the sweet song of Anja, because sometimes you wish for before, when the tool shed stood, when cracks in the sidewalks had not been pried open, when the souls of all wild things were still in forced hibernation.
Tatterdemalion is told by a ragtag crew of characters. There's Poppy, the boy who speaks the languages of newts and ravens and trees, who sets out on this journey to discover the true story of the mysterious and revered Anja, born of the Buckeye. And it's really Poppy who guides us through the many threads of story in Tatterdemalion as he pieces together the stories of his own past and also the world around him. His journey takes him to the glacial peaks of the mountains to the east and all the way back again, bearing behind him a great tide of change. At the heart of the novel is the birth, death, and rebirth of the wheeled and elephantine beast named Lyoobov. And Lyoobov is actually dreamed up right out of the earth by these two artists named Rose and Ash at the end of our known world. And through them, he really becomes a living vehicle of revolt, of a wild revolt. Then there's Margaret, who later becomes Saint Margaret, a girl who witnesses the fall of a city and through her sorrow actually turns into a barn owl. There's Fionn, a witch stuck in a bottle for centuries who drifts across the ocean from Wales all the way to California and lands on the shores of a revolution. What makes this novel especially unique is that it's a collaboration between me and the magnificent painter Rima. So instead of starting with the text, as most illustrated books do, Tatterdemalion started with the pictures. So there's a set of 14 paintings that span the book, and they actually span almost as many years in Rima's career as an artist, the earliest of which she painted when she was just 18. So the actual writing of the novel started one day when I was sitting at my desk with a slight case of writer's block. And I'd really loved Rima's work for several years, and as I was sitting there, it suddenly occurred to me that I might use one of her paintings as a jumping-off point to write from. As I started writing, I felt like I was being taken by the hand and led into this world that was at once very deeply familiar to me in an astonishing way and also deeply strange. This wonderful world peopled with shape-shifting fools and the wisdom of animals and this old humus-dark magic. So I wrote more and more after that initial piece, and I sent the pieces of writing to Rima, and it started to become clear that this wasn't just a set of writing exercises, but that they actually wanted to be a book. And so I kept writing, and the characters kept emerging through the paintings, and it became clear to me that they wanted to be a novel, not a set of unconnected stories. A novel that is told in fragments, but stitched together becomes a whole mythology. So Tatterdemalion was really created in a back-to-front manner, and as such a revolutionary manner, by two women, myself and Rima, who are both very concerned with the state of the world around us, but also deeply enchanted by and drawn to a more ancient and folkloric world. Writing Tatterdemalion was a total joy. It was a complete joy. And it really truly did feel as though Rima's paintings took me into this other world that was beautiful and deeply magical and very moving to occupy and hard to tear myself away from. So read this book and come join us there.